Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Amy's 200. I'm Amy. Hello, this is Brent. If you didn't know us already, there is heaps and heaps more content about this car. Link up here somewhere, and you can watch episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's heaps before you watch this one. So we are in the cabin of my dual cab converted 200 series. First, I want to tell you a story because stories are way more fun than just talking about the interior of a Land Cruiser. So Brent came up with this great idea about putting my ECU controller in a really cool place, right?
Oh,
and it's awesome.
Proper cool.
It's proper cool, right? But the funny thing about it is that I didn't know the full function of this
Cool feature. Sick feature.
Until I lost my key. So I'd been driving my car around for a few weeks, putting my key here because it's a push button start car, not realizing that this is a hole.
It's not a pocket.
It's not a pocket anymore. It goes into
the
abyss. So I was camping by myself with my friends. Brent was in the Simpson Desert, and I lost my key. I lost my key behind the dash of my car. I was so angry. I'm like, how has he not told me that there is a freaking hole in my car? The reason why I tell you this is because my Safari Armax ECU controller is absolutely busted. I had an 11-year-old get her hand behind my dash to get my key because there is band-aids and all sorts of things down there trying to get the key because it was actually down on the floor. So moving on to that, this is my Safari ECU controller that is broken and will be replaced at some time soon. We just haven't got around to it. So that controls the ECU that I showed you in a previous video underneath my dash.
Plus, what's that?
I can't see that from here.
This is a USB in and HDMI in for our Kenwood head unit as well. So Apple CarPlay Android Auto straight into there rather than just the good old 12-volt socket. Plus it doesn't look too bad when you do that either, Amy.
So if you can't see in the light here, all of the silver portions of the vehicle have been painted Nori Green to match the outside. So thank you very much for Brent for doing that. The gear shift lever, there's more in here that Fred will show you later. The steering wheel, it's absolutely epic. This is the DDX920, so this is the smaller version of the one that you see in Brent 79. You can watch that video.
Same features basically.
It's just got a smaller screen. I like them both equally. I do find the 10.1 a little bit overbearing.
I don't. I like it. The screen's way gooder.
I disagree. So I like the fact that it's flush with the dash. This does fit in a 79 really beautifully as well. You still have all of the... Do you still have as many camera inputs, Brent?
No, unfortunately you don't.
Okay, so that is one thing that I'm going to have to eat my words and that I do like about the other one because I can have 4 camera inputs.
But you've got CD, DVD. Now that's a feature you don't see every day, and the 10.1 does not have that.
Yeah, so there you go. In the center console, we have our Airbag Man gauge, Brent, to measure what, Brent?
All your airbags, Amy. Up and down, left and right. So we got airbags in the back. Basically, if you are definitely a towing person, having your bags controllable from the front of the vehicle. So we got some switches on the dash up here, which are our air up and down. That's pretty much what's happening here, and the gauge is pretty much just monitoring our PSI in the bags.
So Brent, can you tell me, there is a few switch blanks here and they have things in them, so what are they? Okay,
so on the GXL up near the shifter here, I'll just put it down into drive so you guys can see a little bit better. We do have our Red Arc TowPro controller just here, and I do have the light for the pre-line kit, which is obviously under the bonnet. Now we do have a UHF pass-through here as well. Ames keeps that in the center console. When she needs the UHF, plug it in, handpiece there, goes in the cup holder quite nicely.
I don't need that around G-Bung very much.
No, and you weren't a fan of obviously putting things on your dash, so that's why we kind of kept
I'm not
clean. So
children touch things.
Yeah, as you can see, that's what we've got there. Mind you, if you've got an up-spec VX or a Sahara, that is not a thing. They do have genuine switches in those positions, so you cannot do that in the upper spec models. Hence again why Amy liked the GXL.
So in a VX or a Sahara, Brent normally does something quite cool, that he does a flush mount, so it mirrors this. He puts this RJ45 in this section here. It looks pretty slick.
Thanks.
Why don't you talk about the gazillion switches that are to your right?
So in our cockpit, we've pretty much kept it simple with old school switching, so everything's in the switch blanks. There is a replacement panel that we do get from Air on board, and they give us an extra 4 spaces down the bottom. So spotlights, light bar, the rear lights. We've got our buggy whip that's switched from here, our thermo fans for under the bonnet are switched from here, and then on this side you can see our air up and down systems on here with the compressor and the bags left and right. So everything is a little bit old school with us, which I kind of like because it just keeps it simple, and basically everything that the driver needs is right there at your fingertips. One thing that we didn't mention in previous episodes is our friends at A1 Custom Detailing have ceramic coated the vehicle for us. So we do offer that as a service for our customers as well. If that's something that you're looking for, definitely a must-have if you are heading off-road. It just keeps all the muck and the yucky stuff off the vehicle. Definitely get that sick water bead off the car when you do that.
Fingerprints with children, and little scratches from school bags and all that sort of stuff. If we're talking about this car from a mum's taxi perspective, it definitely, the longevity of both our cars, even the 70 used as a daily,
100%.
like the difference is phenomenal.
I actually had we had the 4 Drive Queensland Club come to our workshop not too long ago, and a couple of guys were like, how do you keep your vehicle so clean? The ceramic coating just does wonders for longevity of the paint.
We also have ceramic
window tint.
Window tint. Oh. Sorry, thank you, Brent. I forgot the word.
Window tint, ceramic window tint. Talk about that, Amy.
I don't really know much about that, Brent.
Okay. So the good thing about the ceramic is that it is not just tint. It also keeps sun UV ray out as well. So it's not just darkening the vehicle. Basically, it'll make the vehicle cooler because UV is not getting through the tint as well. There's probably a couple other features about it that we're not technically on board with that, but our tinting guys that do come to the shed definitely know a lot more about it. And it's just a must, a super must for any type of vehicle. Any car needs tint, because keeping the heat out of your vehicle is #1 operation.
I have a custom interior designed by our friends at Proceed Automotive. So I went in with a idea just to have something different. The green has appeared in this as well. We have had custom stitching added and these retrims everywhere. The gear shift lever, the steering wheel, the seats have been retrimmed, the rear seats have been retrimmed. There is a really artistic abstract pattern that you don't see in seats all the time, and I suppose that's just
that's
me.
you.
That's me being me. Brent wanted to do something in the 79, but it wasn't achievable because we had to install child restraints. Do you want to tell the wonderful people what you managed to achieve in this car that you couldn't in the 79?
Oh, so stereos are a little bit of a thing that I do like. I'm not, gonna go super extreme with the stereo, but I like it.
Really?
Yeah, well, there's still people that go a little bit more above what I do. So what we did was, when the vehicle was being chopped, Warnie and I went to Toowoomba and we sound deadened the whole cab. So this whole thing has been stage 4 sound deadened with car builders. Then we went a little bit crazy with our vocal speakers. I did do some quite substantial splits in the front, and obviously upgraded in the rear doors as well, all running off the head unit. And then in the back though, I've gone a little bit wild thanks to our friends at Complete Car Sound at Enogra. Those guys built me a custom fiberglass box that fits in behind the rear seats. So I have 2 10-inch subs in behind there, and they're all running off focal amplifiers that are on the back wall as well. Included on that back wall, we do have our Selfie and our UHF, so a couple of actual usable things back there. But I definitely wanted this thing to be a little bit wild on the sound system side. So it's pretty cool.
We can basically run it at about volume 8 before the kids start to cry.
Well, you know, it's kind of a me thing when they're not in the car, so too bad for them.
So that is the last episode in my 200 series build. I'm sure there will be more to come in the future, but for now, that's where we're at. If you would like to see this particular vehicle or Brent 79, they are on display every day of the week in our Brisbane workshop in Boondall. So please come down. They are there for you to look at. They are there for you to see, touch, come for a test drive. That's why we built them. So we do welcome you into our workshop and come down and say hello, because that's why we're here. We're here to create dream vehicles just for you. If you would like to see more episodes like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. There is heaps more content coming up. Thanks for watching.
Bye guys.